This is the product we talked about in our last video, the demise of Victron Energy. And if you haven't watched that, go check that out and see why I think this product's going to be the demise of Victron Energy. In this video, I'm going to run through the product and why I think it's an amazing product and all the features of the product. Let's go. Now, from a product range in an off-grid situation, these products range from 5 to 25 kilowatt in a single inverter. So you can get a 5, 6, 8, 10, 15, 20, 25. Once you get bigger than the 8, they become 3-phase inverters. If you are on the market looking to purchase one of these, it is important you get the gateway that actually can take a generator. So there is a difference between the grid connected gateway and the off-grid gateway. So it's important off-grid that you do look and get that gateway. And if you are seriously looking at purchase one of these, click in the link below and you can actually get a rebate and a discount from actually using one of our codes from purchasing this product from any installers in Australia. So make sure you click on the link below and register to get your discount about getting a Sigenergy product. So it all starts with the gateway. This gateway here is where all the energy transfers through. So if you think about it, this is like your meter box that goes on the walls, probably the best way to think about it. So all the inverters attached to this. So with Sigenergy, if you buy a stack of batteries, so one inverter and then a stack of batteries, it'll plug into that. And then you buy another inverter with another stack of batteries that plugs into it. So in a failure situation, only one tower, you lose one tower of batteries and one inverter, where you've still got half your capacity and half your inverter. So from a reliability point of view, you're probably better off in that off-grid situation buying a couple of different stacks. Now, with the batteries, they come with a few different types of batteries, and the batteries all look the same. So from this stack here, the top part's the inverter and the middle part's the battery. They come in 5 or 8 kilowatt hours. What I really love about 5 and 8 kilowatt hour battery packs. So if you're comparing this to a Tesla Powerwall, and just remember, you can't use the Tesla Powerwall off grid, but I'm going to use the example because everyone knows about it. With a Tesla Powerwall, every time you upgrade your battery, you're spending $15,000. I'm just talking Australian here. So here in Australia, it's like $15,000. For you guys in the States, it's like a couple of $100. You know, a dollar's terrible at the moment. So yeah, the really good thing about these products, and you can mix and match the batteries. That's another thing in the off-grid marketplace. I found that it's very hard to mix if a company's released a 5 kilowatt hour battery and then they release a 6 kilowatt hour battery, you can't sort of mix and match them. These guys have actually designed these batteries to put the 5, 13, so you can really tailor-made those products to your specific situation of how many that you want. So if you want to get 2 batteries, you get 16 kilowatt hours, the 2 8s, or you want to do 2 8s and a 5, you can really mix and match. But the reality with most battery manufacturers, it's more economic at the bigger battery that they sell. Living off grid, you might not be thinking about an EV. You might think, oh, it's just too much in the capacity. What I love about this is it actually integrates your battery, your EV battery, into your house. So you buy a stack of these, you've got a couple of batteries at home, you then buy their charger from these guys here. What that allows you to do is actually, if you get the right vehicle, and it's actually DC, so I actually don't see the reason why that with this DC capability, you couldn't plug into any car in the market unless it's going to be software locked from that manufacturer. Because DC, the problem with most EV chargers, they're AC, so you're relying on the charger on the car to have that smarts. Well, this is DC, so it's actually bypassing all the charger in your car and going direct to the battery. And that's going to give you access to the battery capacity in your car. So for an off-grid situation, you could really just have it, okay, you charge your car every day, you go pick the kids up from school, you come back, and you plug the car in, and you have in the app overnight that it doesn't actually charge the car overnight, that the system can only actually use the battery power from the car overnight if required. So this is a game changer when it comes to off-grid living, that the fact that you can take your vehicle, you can put a ton of solar up, put so much more solar up, and then your vehicle becomes that extra battery storage when needed and necessary. And look, for most people that live off-grid, EVs really do make sense. The biggest challenge is charging, because most people live off grid. They'll take the kids to school, they do all their stuff running around in the morning, they come back home, they're at home all day, doing the washing, charging the electric car. And the problem with the electric car, once you've put that energy in the electric car from the solar, it's useless to you at the house, where this is a real game changer, where you can take that battery storage from your car and you can actually use it within your home, which is pretty damn exciting. And it's going to be really flexible because it is DC. With an AC car charger, you're really going to require to make sure the right charger, the right car, all that sort of stuff. With this DC, I said, being so much more flexible. Now, some of the other amazing products with this here, you might not be off grid, or you might not be starting from scratch. You might already have a solar PV system. One of my favorite things and way to design off grid is to actually have an AC coupled system. And I'd probably recommend this as well. So how an AC coupled system works is you've got a typical grid connected inverter, and in an off-grid situation, normally we've got a big shed. How we've normally over the years designed and installed systems, the customer normally buys a big shed, slaps a load of solar panels on top, puts the batteries in there, and we just put enough panels up on the shed. Sometimes the shed's not big enough to create enough energy and power for that customer's needs when they build their house. So what we typically do, and it's easier to dig a trench because you need to dig one trench and run a cable from the shed over to the house. We normally use what's called an AC coupled system, which is just literally putting a grid connected solar inverter up, and it's important you use the right manufacturer. We put the grid connected inverter up over on the house, and then that grid connected inverter or PV inverter, AC coupled, will run the loads of the house. And then any excess will shoot down that cable and send back over to the battery-based system. And the battery-based system will take that energy and charge it. Now, Victron's actually been one of the only products in the world, Victron, SMA. Victron's probably the most versatile, where you can literally have a shed here and 1,000 meters away, you can have, it's a bit extreme, 1,000 meters, you'd probably put another whole solar system up. It's probably more economical. But you can have a shed in a house very far away. And because the Victron controls everything with frequency, and SMA is another great example of that there, the SMA products, that it all changes with frequency shifts. So the units don't have to be really close to each other. So it really works in those situations. For the Sigenergy products here, they are the same thing. So you can actually have this AC coupled units. You can have a house over in the paddock, shed over here, and you can do that same thing with the AC coupling. So it's a really beneficial. For the grid connected people thinking about this, one other really beneficial product about it, a lot of the products on the marketplace that have a delay between going from the grid to off grid. I know in Australia, this has caused a lot of complications for products to be certified in Australia. And this Victron sort of like hands up in the air and like don't want to deal with the grid in Australia because it's a nightmare, which has really been a demise to their product, because there's so many systems out there that would love to be able to use Victron products, and I just can't because it's illegal, which sucks. So there's only a specific couple of products in the Victron range you can actually use in a grid connected situation. So with a lot of other products in the marketplace, though, when there is a grid failure and it goes from the grid and the system goes to think about what it's doing, some systems have a 60-second delay. So if you've got computers, your clocks, that's the most annoying thing, is all your clocks turn off and you've got to reset them all. This Sigenergy have a 0-second load disruption. So what that basically means that if there's a blackout from the grid, it goes literally from the grid to your off-grid inverter instantly. So this can be used for medical devices and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty amazing. Now let's talk about the Sigenergy Store app. This app actually has ChatGPT built into it. If you haven't got into ChatGPT or AI user, it's actually amazing. And we're doing a lot of work ourselves as a business on the back end, writing our own language model. Because all it basically is, if you think about it, all these AIs, they're taking all that information from the company and thinking, dumping it. So these guys have their own sort of private ChatGPT, but also can actually interact with the internet. If you have any problems or information, it's going to go on and tell you what to do. Some really good features about AI and using AI technologies like this. Like, I've had some situations before with customers where they just wake up in the morning, they've got flat batteries and things like that because things have been left on or things have come on that, you know, we're unaware of. By having this feature built into it, this system's going to learn and track your energy usage. It's going to say, you know, at 7 o'clock at night, hey, Mike, you're using a little bit more energy than usual. Your normal energy usage is like 2 kilowatts this time of night, and it's actually at 7. I think you should really look into this, and it's going to give you notifications and things like that. That's going to be a real game changer to help people with notifications and to have those smarts to help people out. And it's going to be a whole different story where you get a notification saying, hey, the pool pump's been left on or the hot water's running flat out. That's another one that happens all the time, is thermostats breaking hot water. So the hot water's on all the time. And this is going to be able to tell you a notification saying, hey, you're using more energy at this time of night than you are. Have a look into it. And that's going to help you wake up in the morning, probably with, you know, to be able to solve that problem late at night and wake up in the morning with power instead of wake up in the morning in the middle of the night with no power and have to reset all your clocks. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'd love to hear in the comments below how you feel about this Sigenergy product. If you think it's going to dominate the off-grid market, I'm pretty excited about this product. I think it's one of the best products to hit the market in a very, very long time. And I'm looking forward to get one here in the Bat Lab so we can test it, put it through its paces, and tell you guys what it's all really about. Until next time, guys, stay energized.